The Special Investigating Unit has rejected Dedani Mkhize's allegations of bias and lack of impartiality. This after the Health Minister's son shared a statement on his Facebook page criticizing the SIU, calling the organization unprofessional and biased. He further denied receiving 3.8 million rands from the contract awarded by the Health Department. Now, let's discuss this. We are joined via Zoom by SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago. Kaiser, thank you so much for your time this afternoon and for joining us. Now, before we speak about what, Dedani Mkhize has said in his statement, it seems that you have more evidence against him. Talk to us about this 3.8 million rands that he received or allegedly received from Digital Vibes.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you to your viewers. It is all the information that is in our affidavit and the file that we've submitted to court has got the evidence attached to it. Therefore, it becomes very difficult at this present moment to get into the details of the evidence, because if we get into it as the applicants, we are going to prejudice the other people. We want them to have an opportunity to read our file and then respond to what it is in the file, because if we start doing that, they will then have to respond and we'll do the trial in the media, and that is not what we want.
Now, let's talk about what is contained in that statement. Dedani Mkhize claims that he reached out to the SIU through his lawyers, but his submissions do not seem to have been considered in your investigations. In fact, he seems to think that the SIU has made a predetermination on the matter. What's your response to this?
We reject that really with the contempt that it deserves, because he wants to come to the public and say he was not afforded an opportunity to be heard. And for him, what that means is he wanted us to call him and sit face-to-face with him and talk to him. It was not necessary for us to do that because he has signed an affidavit and submitted it to us. We then considered it when we were looking at the investigation. Therefore, that is being heard. That is the one part. But the second part is for us to make him a respondent in the court case or in the tribunal case that is going to come. We are further giving him another opportunity where he will then have to file responding papers to the court and defend his position. Therefore, I don't understand what he's trying to do, because he's just basically trying to paint us as the bad people when it might just be him not understanding the process, because being heard doesn't necessarily mean having to sit with you. We have heard him. He has signed an affidavit. We acknowledge receipt of that affidavit. I don't know what else he needs us to do.
Now, let's talk about some of the things that are contained in your statement that you've issued following his statement on his social media platforms. Now, you basically are saying that he's actually confirmed to receiving some money, obviously not to the value of 3.8 million rands, that in some communication it was actually around about 100 and so thousand rands. So as the SIU, when you have significant evidence, against an alleged perpetrator, as an example, in your efforts to try and recoup, some of the monies, is that not enough evidence for you then to lay a criminal charge and have someone arrested? Talk to us about the process that you follow in these cases.
Yes, we have done the investigations in regards to this, and we've already found some kind of criminality. And that has already, as we speak, been sent to the NPA. The NPA must have received it by now, and we've given that evidence to them, and they will have to take it from there. But we are very clear. We have always made it very clear that all our investigations are allegation-based, as this one was, and all our outcomes are evidence-based. We would not have put anything in that affidavit if there was no evidence. And people must know that what they see is the affidavit that we did. But they don't know that in the file, we also submitted to the tribunal the evidence that we have found and the affidavits of many other people that are there. Therefore, for us, we are clear that we cannot make any finding if there is no evidence attached to it.
Now, some of the things that are contained in Mr. Mkhize's statements in the media is that he is very disappointed by your unprofessional conduct as the SIU. What are some of your, reaction or comments to that? In fact, he says to say that its dealings, as in the SIU, have been nothing short of unprofessional and biased would be an understatement.
I don't know what he will base that on. If he says he has not even sat with us, how does he know whether we are professional or not professional? Because for us, it is something that is bizarre that he can make statements like that. Our investigators are very professional, and we are able to show you on the matters that we are dealing with, the evidence that we have got, and we deal with that. Therefore, for him, it's just really trying to divert attention from the issues. The issues here is he must now respond to our allegations that are contained in the documents that we have, and then we will then respond back to him with the evidence, further evidence, if there is a need for us to do so. But at the end of it all, he cannot know whether we are professional or not, because the only interaction he had was to send us an affidavit, and we responded to him. And if that is not professional for us to respond to say you've received it, what else does he want?
Now, before we wrap up this matter in concerning a digital vice, talk to me about the process now before the special tribunal. What are the next steps, and what are we likely to start seeing from your end?
Yes, the process is very simple. And this is another thing that he raises in his media statement, to say he was not given an opportunity to be served before the matter went to the special tribunal. That is a clear sign that he doesn't understand how things are done. How do you serve people when you have not filed the matter with the tribunal? Because the matter has to be filed with the tribunal. They will stamp the documents with the date of when they receive them, and only after do we have to then serve them. Therefore, it's a sign that he doesn't understand. But the process is going to be like that. We have now filed the documents with the special tribunal. We are in the process now of serving all the over 20 respondents that are there. And after that, they will be given enough time to respond to us. And once they've responded to us, we'll have an opportunity to respond again to the response from all these respondents, and then a date will be set for the matter to be heard. That is how the process is going to be going forward.
All right. Now, this one investigation is part of a larger set of investigations that you are doing. And of course, we know that this is trying to just follow where the money has gone in terms of all the PPE, corruption scandals leveled at several people and organizations. Talk to me about where the process is at the moment, how many investigations are on the go, how many have been closed, etc.
Yes, as far as the issues that relate to PPEs, we were having about 2,251 service providers, and with the contracts there are about 4,117 contract or service providers. And then so far, as at the end of April, we have finished 40%, which is 1,071 contracts. And then we were working at that time on 54%, which is 2,695 contracts. And the ones that had not started as at the end of April were 351, which amounted to 6%. We are looking at the target of finishing our investigation by the end of August, as we had promised, and that is what we intend to do.
Fantastic. Kaiser, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Kaiser Khanyago, spokesperson there for the SIU. All right.